Hi everyone, hope you are doing well. This is the fourth video of AWS Interview Questions Series playlist. Let's begin today's session. When do I prefer to provision IOPS over the standard RDS storage? If you have to batch-oriented is workloads. If I am running on my DB instance a multi-AZ deployments. Can I use to the stand by the DB instance for read or write operation along with to primary DB instance? Primary DB instance does not working. Which the AWS services will you use to the collect and the process e-commerce data for the nearby real-time analysis? Good of Amazon Dynamo DB. A company is deploying the new 2-tier and web application in AWS. The company has to limit it on staff and the requires high availability. And the application requires to complex queries and table joins. Which configuration provides to the solution for company's requirements? And web application provide on Amazon Dynamo DB solution. Which statement used to cases are suitable for Amazon Dynamo DB? The storing metadata for the Amazon S3 objects. And the running of relational joins and complex and updates. Your application has to the retrieve on data from your user's mobile take every 5 minutes. And then data is stored in the Dynamo DB. Later every day at the particular time the data is extracted into S3 on a per user basis. And then your application is later on used to visualize the data to user. You are asked to optimize the architecture of the backend system to lower cost. What would you recommend do? Introduce Amazon Elasticache to the cache reads from the Amazon Dynamo DB table and to reduce the provision read throughput. You are running to website on EC2 instances can deployed across multiple availability zones within multi-AZ RDS MySQL extra large DB instance etc. Then site performs a high number of the small reads and the write per second and the relies on the eventual consistency model. After the comprehensive tests you discover that there is red contention on RDS MySQL. Which is the best approaches to meet these requirements? The deploy Elasticache and memory cache is running in each availability zone and then increase the RDS MySQL instance size and the implement Provisioned IOPS. And startup is running to a pilot deployment of around 100 sensors to the measure street noise, and the air quality is urban areas for the 3 months. It was noted that every month to around the 4 GB of sensor data are generated. The company uses to a load balance take AutoScale layer of the EC2 instances and a RDS database with a 500 GB standard storage. The pilot was success and now they want to deploy take at least 100k sensors. Let which to need the supported by backend. You need to the stored data for at least 2 years to analyze it. Which setup of following would you be prefer? Replace the RDS instance with an 6-node Redshift cluster with take 96 terabytes of storage. Let to suppose you have an application where you have to render images and also do some of general computing. Which service will be best fit your need? Used on application load balancer. How will change the instance give type for the instances, which are the running in your applications tier and then using AutoScaling? Where will you change it from areas? Change to AutoScaling launch configuration areas. You have a content management system running on the Amazon EC2 instance that is the approaching 100% CPU of utilization. Which option will be reduce load on the Amazon EC2 instance? Let create a load balancer and give register the Amazon EC2 instance with it. What does the connection of draining do? The reroutes traffic from the instances which are to be updated or failed in health to check. When the instance is unhealthy, it is terminated and replaced with new ones. Which of the services does that? The service make a fault tolerance. What are the life cycle to hooks used for the AutoScaling? They are used to put an additional taken wait time to the scale in or scale out events. And user has to set up an AutoScaling group. Due to some issue the group has to fail for launch a single instance for the more than 24 hours. What will be happen to the AutoScaling in the condition? The AutoScaling will be suspend to the scaling process. You have in the EC2 Security Group with several running to EC2 instances. You change to the security of group rules to allow the inbound traffic on a new port and protocol, and then the launch to several new instances in the same of security group. Such the new rules apply? The immediately to all the instances in security groups. To create and mirror make an image of your environment in another region for the disaster recoveries. Which of the following AWS resources do not need to be recreated in second region? Maybe the selected on Route 53 record sets. And customers wants to the captures all client connections to get information from his load balancers at an interval of 5 minutes only. Which cal select option should he choose for his application? The condition should be enabled to AWS CloudTrail for the load balancers. Which of the services to you would not use to deploy an app? Lambda app not used on deploy. How do the Elastic Beanstalk can apply to updates? Buy a duplicate ready with the updates prepare before swapping. And created a key in the Oregon region to encrypt of my data in North Virginia region for security purposes. I added to 2 users to the key and the external AWS accounts. I wanted to encrypt in the object in S3, so when I was tried, then key that I just created is not listed. What could be reason and solution? The key should be working in the same region. As a company needs to monitor a read and write IOPS for the AWS MySQL RDS instances and then send real-time alerts to the operations of team. Which AWS services can accomplish this? The monitoring on Amazon CloudWatch. The organization that is currently using the consolidated billing has to recently acquired to another company that already has a number of the AWS accounts. How could an administrator to ensure that all the AWS accounts, from the both existing company and then acquired company, is billed to the single account? All invites take acquired the company's AWS account to join existing the companies of organization by using AWS Organizations. The user has created in the applications, which will be hosted on the EC2. The application makes calls to the Dynamo DB to fetch on certain data. The application using the DynamoDB SDK to connect with the EC2 instance. Which of respect to best practice for the security in this scenario? The user should be attach an IAM roles with the DynamoDB access to EC2 instance. You have an application are running on EC2 instance, which will allow users to download the files from a private S3 bucket using the pre-assigned URL. Before generating to URL, the application should be verify the existence of file in S3. How do the application use the AWS credentials to access S3 bucket securely? And create an IAM role for the EC2 that allows list access to objects in S3 buckets. Launch to instance with this role, and retrieve and roles credentials from EC2 instance make metadata. Hope you like our content. For more content like this, please do like, comment, share and subscribe. Follow us on the social handles. Links in the description below.